divorce around here. What you want a divorce for?
Because I'm not happy. I'm not going to stay in a marriage that I'm not happy in. I've already been unhappy for the past 2 years I've been with you. Baby, I'm tired of it. I want happiness. I want to be free.
All the stuff I do for you, yo, I provide. I make sure you good. I make sure your kids good. I make sure everything done around
Okay,
you.
but I can do that myself. You are just
So why
not
you ain't do it
enough for
yourself?
me. I was doing it when you met. I was good when you met me. I'm not attracted to you. I don't want to be with you.
So why you take my ring?
Honestly, because my mama told you yes when you asked for my hand in marriage.
So you married me because of what your mom said.
I mean, I was trying to please my family, but look, I just want the paper signed. I don't want to be with you no more.
Who you want to be with?
That ain't your damn business.
That is my business. You my wife.
I fell in love with a woman.
A woman?
Yes, a woman.
What kind of, what?
She can do a whole bunch of things that you cannot do.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I don't have to fake certain things anymore. I won't do this no
You
more.
out of pocket, yo.
I
You out of pocket. You don't make no sense right now.
I do make
You don't
sense.
no
I do make sense.
right
I am about to live in my truth. I want to live in my truth.
No, what you did was cheat, and you think you in love.
I am.
Okay.
This girl gave me in 30 days what you could not give me in 2 years. And I don't want to do it with you no more. I want you out because she's moving in.
I'm not going nowhere.
You need to get out or I will throw you out.
You're going to be a happy family.
You need to get
You're going to be a
I'm
happy
not
family.
confident. You better,
I'm not going nowhere. You better call the
get out.
police. You better call the police. I'm telling you now.
get out.
I'm not doing none
Get
of
out.
that.
Get out. Get out. Get out my house. Get out.
I'm not
Get out.
going
Get out.
nowhere.
Get the fuck my house. Get out my
Really,
house. Get out my house. Get out my house. And don't come back.
I'll be back.
Yeah, okay. And my girl gonna be here to take care of that. Fuck.
Fellas, we need to talk. Not just about relationships, but about reality. Because what you're about to hear isn't fiction. It's not an exaggeration. And it's not rare anymore. A woman literally sat down and admitted, with no shame, that she divorced her husband not because he was bad, but because he was too good. Yeah, you heard that right. A man did everything he was supposed to do. He provided, he protected, he loved, he showed up, and somehow that wasn't enough. So if you're out here thinking being a good man is all it takes to keep a woman happy, buckle up. Because this story is the cold slap of truth too many men need to hear right now. Now let's get into it. You can hear her clearly. No editing, no distortion. Just her truth out in the open. She said it with her own mouth. He was a good husband. He provided for me. He took care of me. He met all my needs. But she still filed for divorce. Not because he cheated. Not because he was abusive. Not because he was lazy or disrespectful. But because he was too good. Let that sink in. A man who did everything right still got left. That's where we are right now. That's the climate we're living in as men. He showed up. He was consistent. He did what society told him a real man should do. But that wasn't enough. She literally said, he was the man I needed, but not the man I wanted. So now the question we as men have to start asking out loud, without fear being shamed or silenced, is this. What do women really want? Because if being loyal, hardworking, emotionally present, and responsible still get a man divorced, then what's the point? Where's the win? We've been gaslit for years. Told if we just do better, communicate more, provide more, listen more, soften more, we'll be appreciated. We'll be chosen. But time and time again, we see good men getting left, while toxic behavior gets glorified and chosen. Let's stop pretending it's about men being better. It's not. It's about women chasing chaos and then blaming men for the destruction. It's about women not knowing what they want. And when they finally get a stable man, they get bored, restless, and start romanticizing dysfunction. We're watching closely now. We're taking notes. Because stories like this prove that many women don't want stability. They want excitement, unpredictability, and drama until it's too late. Until they've already destroyed something solid. Then they cry about there being no good men left. But the truth is, you left a good man. You said he was too good. And now you're shocked the dating pool is a mess? This is not a one-off story. It's becoming a pattern. Women leaving good men because deep down, they don't know how to value peace. They say they want love, but when love shows up calm, steady, and real, they mistake it for weakness. They want the fantasy, not the foundation. So let's be honest here. This isn't a man problem. This is a woman accountability problem. And until that's addressed, more good men will walk away quietly. More men will stop showing up, not out of spite, but out of survival. We're not bashing. We're telling the truth. Because too many men are suffering in silence, doing everything right, and still ending up discarded. So I'll say it again, what do women really want? Because clearly, being a good man isn't enough anymore. And maybe, just maybe, it never was.
I'm tired. I need a break. I need a break from all of this adulting out here. I need a break from all of this transition in here. I don't want to talk to people. Look at my eyes. I'm sleeping, but I'm not. I know transitions are a challenge, right? It's not all sunshine and butterflies. And just the work that I've put in, and sometimes it doesn't even feel like work, but it is, it's catching up with me. I'm exhausted. I'm so short with people. I just tried to back into the spot. Yeah, I'm good. And the guy next to me was just like, it doesn't matter. I just need to rest. If you're doing this, rest. You know, I want to come on here and I want to be like, oh, it's so grand and oh, what a great day. And I'm not feeling it today. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to go into this here store over yonder and I'm going to get a little bag of popcorn and some Epsom salts and I'm going to watch a true crime documentary and I'm going to take care of me and I will see you guys soon.
Here we go again. Another story that's becoming way too common. A woman, deep in her independent era, decides to divorce her husband. Why? Not because he was abusive, not because he was unfaithful, not because he didn't care, but because she wanted to find herself, because she wanted freedom, because she believed she could do bad all by herself. So she packs up, leaves a stable home, breaks up a family, and dives headfirst into this fantasy of single independence. And what happens next? Regret. Immediate, heavy, soul-crushing regret. She thought being single would feel like a glow-up. She thought it would be spa days, passport stamps, wine nights, and living her truth. But what she got was silence, emptiness, cold nights, fake friends, and a harsh reality check that being alone isn't empowering when nobody's checking on you, when no one's at your back, when you've traded security for solitude. And now suddenly, that man she left, the one who protected her, who paid the bills, who handled life like a man is supposed to. Now he's the one that got away. Now she misses him. Now she wants him back. But it's too late. See, that's the part they never show you on social media. The regret, the loneliness, the late night scrolling through old photos, the realization that the grass isn't greener, it's just fake turf. She believed the lies. She believed she could trade in a husband for healing. She bought into the hype that men are optional, replaceable, that she could be mother and father, breadwinner and boss, and still be fulfilled. But now she's crying in silence because reality hit her like a brick. Independence doesn't replace intimacy. Doing it all doesn't feel good when no one's there to share the load. And this is the message every man needs to hear. Stop chasing women who don't value you. Because too many of them don't realize your worth until you're gone. Too many of them think they'll level up by tearing you down. They trade long-term love for short-term attention, and then act surprised when they end up alone. And don't let them guilt-trip you when the regret kicks in, because they chose to leave. They chose to believe the world would cater to them just because they were strong and independent. But the world doesn't care. The world is cold. And now that reality is knocking, they want to come back home. But the truth is, a lot of men are moving on. Quietly, stronger, wiser, unapologetically. We're not waiting around to be someone's backup plan. We're not entertaining women who leave and then remember our value only after being humbled by loneliness. This isn't bitterness, it's clarity. This isn't hate, it's truth. She had a man. She left him. And now she regrets it. That's not on him. That's on her. So to every man watching this, protect your peace. Stop rescuing women from the storms they created. Let them sit in it. Let them feel it. Let them learn. Because sometimes the only way they truly understand what they had is by losing it forever.
So when my husband and I divorced, he started dating a woman that he worked with. They are now happily married now. And the day that I met her, I welcomed her with open arms. It looked like she was going to be a part of our family and she was going to be in my kids' life. So I wanted us to have an easy transition and at least kindness between us. But then the kids started telling me all the things that they were doing together that he didn't do with me, like lots of cuddling and public displays of affection. And there was a little voice in my head that thought, what the hell? How come he never did that with me for 20 years? But then I realized we married the wrong person. When you marry the right person who you're compatible with, each person is going to behave differently than how they would behave if they were in a relationship with the wrong person. I recognized that they were much more compatible than he and I were. So did I get angry that he and her are happy? Absolutely not. It makes perfect sense. He and I were in an arranged marriage through a prophet in our church. We never really fell in love. And I believe that a lot of people get into arranged marriages and they're not marrying because they actually love each other. They're marrying because they got pregnant, marrying for some legal reason. They're marrying because they have some financial difficulties. It's more of a business partnership than a love connection. So if you and your partner break up and they go on to be an amazing partner for someone else, that doesn't mean that you were a bad person or that you didn't deserve really beautiful love. It just means that you and your partner were never compatible, because no good relationship ends in a breakup. And the key to a successful long relationship is marrying the right person. So if you're bitter that your ex is now a good partner to someone else and wasn't to you, don't take it personal. They're just more compatible. And hopefully your partner learned from their mistakes, that they're more self-aware now, and that they've had a lot of personal growth. That thought process was super healing for me and set me on my path to find the right match for me.
Look, fellas, I want to share a real story that might sound familiar to a lot of men out there, because I think we've all either lived it or seen it happen to someone close to us. It's about a woman who was married to a man for over 20 years. They had kids together, built a life, and went through the usual motions. But eventually, like a lot of modern marriages, it ended in divorce. Now, here's the part that gets interesting, not surprising, just interesting. So after the divorce, the man moves on. Life doesn't stop just because a marriage ends, right? He meets someone new, and some time passes. Then this woman, the ex-wife, eventually meets his new partner. And believe it or not, she actually welcomed the new woman with open arms. She played nice, civil, mature, even. But here's where the mask slipped. Her kids, yes, their own kids, start talking to her about how their dad is now so affectionate, how he's all over his new woman, cuddling her, holding hands in public, doing all the little things that every woman says she wants in a man. And that's when the ex-wife hits that moment of, what the hell? How come he never did all that for me? 20 years and no cuddling, no random affection, no passion. But now this man is out here doing the most for another woman? Ladies, maybe it's time to stop asking why he's doing it now and start asking why he never felt safe or appreciated enough to do it before. Because here's the truth a lot of women don't want to hear. Men don't just shut down emotionally for no reason. They don't stop being affectionate because they're incapable. They stop because they get tired of giving and never being received. Because they get criticized when they're vulnerable. Because every time they try to be romantic, it gets dismissed or taken for granted. And over time, that kills something in a man. This woman spent 2 decades with a man who she claims didn't show her affection. That's not a him problem. That's a relationship dynamic you helped create. And I get it. It's easy to think he just magically turned into Prince Charming for the next woman. But the truth is, he probably always was capable of that love. You just weren't the woman who made him feel like giving it. You didn't inspire that softness in him. You didn't treat it like something worth protecting. And now someone else is. Women love to talk about how men don't communicate, how men shut down, how men don't show affection. But when they do, how many women are really ready to receive it without judgment, without turning it into a weakness, without making it all about themselves? And then when it's all over, when a man finally finds someone who treats him like he matters, who respects his heart and not just what he provides, you sit back and say, he never did that with me. You know why? Because maybe you didn't deserve it. And that's a hard pill to swallow. But let's be real, men have feelings too. And men get tired of living with someone who drains their emotional energy and never fills it back up. You want the version of him that cuddles, that kisses you in public, that plans romantic nights and makes you feel seen. Then you have to be the kind of woman who makes him feel safe enough to do all that. Because when he's with someone who doesn't constantly belittle him, who doesn't make everything a power struggle, who doesn't weaponize his vulnerability, that's when you'll see the version of him you swear never existed. And for all my brothers out there, don't let anyone guilt you for finding peace and love after being emotionally starved. You owe nobody an explanation for choosing happiness. Sometimes the best thing you can do is move on and live well.
Let's talk when your ex gets a new significant other in a matter of seconds after your divorce or before the ink is dry. I want you to ask yourself, are you more pissed off at him because it hurts your feelings and the audacity, or are you super concerned about how it's going to affect your kids? And it could be both. And side note, I can't believe how many clients I have recently whose husbands leave the marriage to go fuck and be with the new best friend, the wife's best friend. It's like a chronic disease going on right now. Scandalous. But let's be real. Your ex is going to do what they want. You cannot control it. You can't stop it. You can't influence it. Nothing. And even if it's hurting your kids, this is their relationship with their kids. You have no part in that anymore. You are not shielding, blocking, deflecting for your ex-husband anymore. This is his relationship with those children. Do I understand this goes both ways? Absolutely. Don't even put that shit in the comment.
Let's talk about something a lot of men are seeing happen more and more these days, but nobody really wants to say out loud. What it feels like when your ex-wife moves on to a new man before the ink on the divorce papers has even dried. Yeah, that. You're barely out the door. Maybe you're still trying to make sense of the last few years, trying to be a good father, trying to stay sane, and boom, she's already posting selfies with some new guy, like your marriage never even happened, like your commitment meant nothing, like the sacrifices, the time, the love you gave her. It was just some phase in her life that she's eager to erase and replace. Now, of course, society jumps to defend her. She deserves to be happy. She's finding herself. Let her heal. Nah, let's cut the nonsense. Let's tell the truth that men aren't allowed to say without being shamed for it. The truth is, she had that man lined up while she was still with you. Women don't move on that fast by accident. That's not healing. That's replacing. That's planned. That's rehearsed. That's her already being emotionally checked out of marriage months or even years before she ever said the words, "I'm done." She was out long before she told you. She had already convinced herself she was a victim, already justified everything in her mind. And while you were still trying to fight for the relationship, she was figuring out how to land softly in someone else's arms. You know how I know? Because that's how it always plays out. She's the one who files for divorce. 80% of the time, it's the woman who walks away. And when she does, it's not impulsive. It's premeditated. She's been done. You were just the last one to find out. The world praises her for it. They call her brave, empowered, a survivor. Meanwhile, you're the guy getting judged for even breathing wrong. You show up with a new woman a year later, and suddenly you're the heartless one. But her? She can post up with her new man at your kid's soccer game like everything's normal. She can parade around town with a guy who might have been the friend she told you not to worry about. And you're just supposed to take it. Smile. Be the bigger man. Keep your mouth shut. But inside, you're thinking, how did she move on this fast? Did I even matter? And let me tell you something. Those are valid questions. Because if she loved you the way she claimed to, she wouldn't be able to switch lanes that quick. Love doesn't dissolve overnight. Loyalty doesn't vanish with a signature. If she could fall into someone else's arms that fast, it means she was never really in yours to begin with. It was never about you. It was about her ego, her emotions, her need for constant validation. And when she didn't feel worshipped every second of every day, she labeled the marriage a failure. She stopped putting in the effort. She blamed you for everything. She forgot that love is a choice, not a feeling. And when that feeling faded, she dipped, and already had someone else waiting in the wings to give her that fresh hit of attention she craves. You think it's a coincidence she moved on before you even had time to breathe? It's not. It's strategy. It's emotional insurance. And the worst part is, most of these women walk away believing they're the mature one. They think their ability to discard a 10-year marriage and hop into something new makes them strong. But it doesn't. It makes them emotionally weak. It shows they were never capable of real intimacy, only surface-level connections based on how they feel in the moment. Let her have the guy she replaced you with. Let her pretend that this is what she needed all along. It's all an illusion, a temporary high. That new guy is just her distraction, her rebound. And when the novelty fades, and it will.
Life after divorce. As a woman, I would honestly sit here and say, as much as I've made the decision and the choice to divorce my husband then, I also regret it. I don't regret it because I still loved him, but I regret it because I feel like I denied my children the right and the opportunity to have what people call a normal family. Now today I'm sitting with kids who are in the statistic of divorce. So as much as I've divorced, I would never ever advise anybody to go through a divorce.
I've seen a lot of things in my life, but nothing hurts more than seeing a woman sit in front of me years after walking away from her marriage and saying the words, "I still loved him. I just didn't know how to say it. I didn't know how to fight for it." And even worse, I regret it, not just for me, but because I denied my children the chance to grow up in a home with their father. That's the part that cuts deep, because when it's all said and done, it's not just about her or him. It's about those kids who had no say, who didn't ask to be dragged into this mess, who lost the stability, the guidance, the safety of two parents who started out loving each other. Divorce isn't new, but what's become more common, more accepted, even encouraged in some circles, is the idea that a woman can just walk away because she wasn't happy. As if happiness is constant. As if every marriage is supposed to feel like a fairy tale every single day. As if challenges, sacrifice, or long-term commitment mean nothing when emotions get tough. Too many women are told to choose themselves, to find their peace, to walk away if it no longer serves you. And they listen. They walk. And years later, when the noise dies down, when the friends who cheer them on are gone, when the silence creeps in at night, they sit alone. And they start to realize that maybe, just maybe, they made a mistake that can't be undone. This woman I'm talking about, she didn't leave because he cheated. He didn't hit her. He didn't abandon the family. He was there, a good man, a present father, a husband who was flawed, yes, but committed. But she left because she didn't feel seen, because the spark faded, because life got hard and she thought something better might be out there. Now she's looking at other families, normal families, as she put it, and wondering what she really gained, because it wasn't peace. It wasn't freedom. It was loneliness, guilt, and the cold realization that she traded a lifetime of love for a moment of escape. And what did the children gain? They gained confusion, emotional instability, shuffled weekends, a father who they now only see part-time, and a mother who's battling her own regrets every single day. This is a reality that so many don't talk about because it's uncomfortable, because it doesn't fit the narrative. But it needs to be said. The truth is, most of the time, it's the women initiating these divorces. Not for abuse, not for neglect, but because of discontent feelings and false expectations. And they're not just walking away from a man. They're walking away from a family, from structure, from the opportunity to build something that lasts beyond the hard seasons. Feelings change. Emotions rise and fall. But family, that's legacy. That's something you fight for. That's something you build even when it's not perfect. Because perfect doesn't exist. And walking away doesn't always mean freedom. Sometimes it means regret. Deep, haunting regret. So before you make that decision, ask yourself, are you really doing what's best? Or are you chasing a fantasy at the cost of your children's reality? Because once the papers are signed, once the home is divided, once the years pass, the only thing left might be the thought that you had a good man, a whole family, and you walked away. Think before you leave, because some choices can't be undone.
If you've gone through a divorce, I just need to know, does it get easier? Does it get easier? being without your kids. Because all I can do every time is cry. No matter what I do, I always end up crying the whole time. Please tell me it gets better because I can't do this.
She's crying now, not because someone hurt her, not because she's in danger, but because the consequences of her choices are finally catching up to her. The silence in the house is loud. The kids are gone for the weekend with their father, the man she used to love, the man she walked away from. She's scrolling through her phone, messaging other divorced women, searching, not for healing, but for confirmation that she's not alone in this pain. She's asking, does it get better? Do you ever stop feeling like this? How do you deal with the guilt? And the truth is, they all say the same thing. They wish they'd done it differently. They thought they were doing the right thing. They thought freedom would feel like peace. But instead, it feels like loneliness. And she started to realize something the world never warned her about. Being right doesn't erase the pain of being alone. She regrets it. Not just losing the man, but losing the meaning, losing the team, losing the family. She thought divorce would solve the pressure, that somehow separating would bring healing. But now she's carrying more than she ever did. The weight of broken promises, the weight of her children's confusion, the weight of knowing that the one thing they needed most, a stable home, was the one thing she destroyed. She's crying because she finally sees it. Not just a loss, but the cause. It wasn't abuse. It wasn't infidelity. It wasn't danger. It was dissatisfaction, boredom, emotional exhaustion, things that could have been worked through. But instead, she walked away. And now she wants comfort. She wants sympathy. She wants answers. But here's the hard truth. What she really needs is accountability. Because she made a decision that fractured everything, and now she's left asking strangers online how to survive it. She's crying because deep down she knows this didn't have to happen. She made a permanent decision based on temporary emotions, and now her children are growing up with split holidays and 2 addresses, and a father who didn't fail just got left. And she's looking around, wondering where all the empowerment went. Where are the promises the world made her? Where's the healing they said would come? But no one told her this part. No one told her how cold it would feel when the door closed and reality set in. She chose this. She made the call. And now she's sitting in the consequences. And I'm not saying this to be cruel. I'm saying this because women need to hear it. This isn't strength. This isn't growth. This is what happens when you believe lies about happiness, lies about independence, lies about love. She had a man who was present, a man who tried, a man who wasn't perfect, but was still there. And she walked, and now she's crying. And maybe she'll post it. Maybe she'll make a TikTok about her regret. But it doesn't change the reality. It doesn't fix what's broken. Because the truth is, the damage is done. And the next time a woman thinks about leaving a marriage for the promise of something more, I hope she hears this. I hope she sees this pain for what it really is. Not oppression, not misfortune, but the result of her own hand. And if she's smart, if she still has a chance, maybe she'll turn around before it's too late. Maybe she'll fight for what matters instead of walking away from it. Maybe she'll stop listening to the world and start listening to truth. Because once you destroy a family, once you choose freedom over foundation, you might find out too late that you were never really trapped. You were just ungrateful.
I'm not doing well. I don't really have anybody to talk to. So, nobody wants to, film themselves crying, right? But, I don't have anybody to talk to. And I'm really alone. And I'm having a lot of panic attacks today. And I'm really frustrated because my ex End of sentence. Because of so many reasons. Co-parenting is not working. He hates me. You don't have to like me, but he won't communicate with me. He won't do anything. And then today, like, he just lied to our doctor for the kids. And I don't know how to fix it. And I don't feel like I'm doing enough, but I also feel like I'm doing it all. But that's not enough. And my ex doesn't want to see anything. And everything is my fault. And he won't take responsibility for anything. But everything's fine. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Except that it's not. And I'm not even hungry. I'm just so tired. And I've really been doing my best, like, keeping it together. And really trying to fake it till I make it kind of thing. That was good for a while. But he triggers me in every way. And I feel really alone. So I can't go to my mom, because if I go to my mom, I'm just gonna get a lecture and told that I'm not doing enough, and like I'm not doing it the right way, and that, you know, I just need to like put my foot down and like blah 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 and all these other things. And okay, it doesn't matter what I say to him, because it literally goes in one ear and out the other, and he doesn't want to hear it, and he doesn't want to like come to the table and actually problem solve. He just wants to make it my fault, which is, it's his fucking fault. At this point, like at this moment in time, the things that are going on are his fucking fault. And he doesn't think I know what's going on. You know what? Our daughter tells me shit. Like, she trusts me, and she and I have conversations on how we're going to try to fix it, and how she's going to manage, and how she's going to manage her feelings over there, and all of these things. And so like, I'm just so tired, and I feel so alone. And I'm really struggling today. This week. I texted my therapist after our pediatrician appointment, because I was literally having a panic attack on the road, and I don't have anyone else to talk to. And she's like, you know, I saw this coming from a mile away. I was like, why didn't you fucking tell me? She laughed. But she's like, I've been trying to, you know, but you have to, you know, you're figuring it out, and you're really strong, and I'm really proud of you, and sometimes this shit just happens, and you need to, instead of doing your chores, and instead of doing like all of these things, you just need to sit in your shit. She's like, that's the only way that you're gonna get through it. And she's not wrong. But like, I have 97,000 things I need to be doing right now. But I also have like crippling panic on my chest right now, and I can barely breathe, and I can barely have like a coherent thought. And I've just really been trying. And it doesn't seem to be working. So, thanks for sitting with me. I know I didn't eat, but like, I'll try. So, thanks.
She's breaking down now. You can see it in the video. Her voice is trembling. Her face is soaked in tears. And she's trying to speak through sobs that have clearly been held in for far too long. And she says it, I haven't been doing well. I haven't let myself feel my feelings because I didn't want to face this. But today was too much. And right there, in that moment, the truth she's been running from finally catches up. She avoided the pain, the consequences, the guilt. She buried it under distractions, under fake smiles, under social media posts, under girls' nights and empowerment slogans. But now she can't escape it anymore. Because no matter how much the world told her she was strong, no matter how many people said she'd be fine, she knows deep down she made this choice. She walked away from her family, and now the weight of it is suffocating her. She's crying because she thought she could outrun the consequences. She thought if she ignored the pain long enough, it would disappear. But that's the thing about reality. It waits, and now it's here, and no one is clapping. No one's calling her brave. She's just a woman, alone, broken, and overwhelmed because the cost of her decisions has finally come due. This isn't grief because of something done to her. It's a collapse that comes when you realize you did this to yourself. She's crying bitterly now, not just from sadness, but from the shame of knowing she didn't just hurt herself. She hurt her children, her home, and the man who once gave her everything. She didn't let herself feel her feelings? Of course she didn't, because deep down, she knew those feelings would expose the truth. That leaving wasn't strength. That silence wasn't healing. That independence wasn't peace. It was just noise. Noise to cover the echo of regret that's been chasing her since the day she said, "I'm done." And now that she's quiet, now that the world isn't cheering, that echo is louder than ever. This isn't just a breakdown. This is the moment she realizes that her so-called empowerment came with a price she wasn't ready to pay. She made the choice, not under abuse, not under threat, but under the illusion that she deserved more, more than a faithful man, more than her children's need for stability, more than a life that required commitment and patience. And now here she is, begging for relief from a pain she created with her own hands. And while she's reaching out for comfort, searching the internet for someone to tell her it'll be okay, what she really needs is truth. Because until women take full accountability for the destruction of their homes, nothing changes. You can't cry your way out of responsibility. You can't undo the damage by finally admitting you're hurting. That pain should have been felt before you filed for divorce. That emotion should have been used to fight for your marriage, not walk away from it. But it's always the same story. Walk out in confidence. Break down in silence, and then cry into a camera, hoping someone will make sense of it for you. But the sense is simple. You walked away from your family, and now you're living with the result. And this video, these tears, this moment, this is what that result looks like. Let this be a warning. To every woman thinking about walking away from a good man, from a stable home, from her children's intact world, this is what's waiting for you on the other side. Not happiness, not freedom. Just a camera, a broken heart, and a voice too choked up to pretend anymore. You can try to avoid your feelings all you want, but eventually they will catch you. And when they do, there'll be no one left to blame except yourself. Fellas, if this message hit home, don't just scroll past. Drop a comment and let your voice be heard. Smash that like button if you're tired of the double standards, and hit subscribe if you're ready for more unfiltered truth from a man's perspective. Until next time, stay sharp, stay grounded, and never apologize for being a man with a voice. Peace.